everyone. Welcome to another episode of School to Startup. I'm Ankita Khosla from University Partnership Team at Tracxn. Tracxn has been supporting global startup ecosystem for over a decade as a leading platform for private market intelligence. We work closely with universities that encourage innovation and entrepreneurship. School to Startup is one of our such key initiatives where we highlight academic leaders who are helping shape entrepreneurs of tomorrow. Today, we are delighted to welcome Dr. Aparna Venugopal, Senior Lecturer in Strategic Management and Entrepreneurship at University of Liverpool.
Thank you, Ankita. Thank you for having me, and I'm happy to be here.
So my first question to you is, could you share a little bit about your professional journey and what led you to academia, and how has been your experience so far?
Thank you for the question. My journey in academia has been quite accidental, along a path of accidental decisions and chance opportunities, I suppose. I did my undergrad in mechanical engineering. I got married. I left academia. Academia because I was a student until then. And then I returned after I had my son and did my master's and my doctorate from Indian Institute of Management, Kozhikode. And then went on to do my postdoc in Canada at University of New Brunswick, and then came here to University of Liverpool, where I came as a lecturer, and now I'm a senior lecturer. And my journey again at each stage has been because I met the right people, or because I was influenced by because I was influenced by the uncertainties in our life. So I truly believe that the uncertainties in our life lead us to the decisions we make. And when we have no uncertainties at all, then we are not forced to make decisions at all. Anyway, that's a different topic altogether. So I think it was all accidental. It wasn't really planned. Having said that, my parents are in academia. My parents are both college lecturers, professors they're retired now in India. So it might have been there somewhere in my subconscious that this is where I'm supposed to be. But at every 5 years, even at every university I've ever worked, I've always wondered whether academia is the right fit for me, and I'm always uncertain. And I'm glad that I'm in a discipline such as management and entrepreneurship, wherein I can explore close engagement with industry partners and explore another side of academia, which is a more practical side, which gives me that space to breathe and think explore whether I'm a right fit for academia, and it would be better to work a bit more with industry. So in being in a discipline like management and entrepreneurship gives me that space to still continue to be uncertain. So that's my journey.
That has been an interesting journey. I think you might have started off as a student, and then your marriage brought you to a different country, and that's where you ended up in academia. And that's a really that's how women have to navigate through these challenges a lot of times. What are some of the most exciting projects or research initiatives that you're currently working on, and what kind of impact do you hope to see with these initiatives?
Thank you. I am working on I'm at a stage in my research journey where it's very interesting, because I came to University of Liverpool in a research pathway, then I switched to a scholarship pathway. Many people may not know this. In 2022. So in UK, we have, in many UK universities, we have both a research track and a scholarship track. And in a scholarship track, we engage more with teaching, as well as impact and practice and research in pedagogy and so on. Not just that, we can also do discipline-based research, but still it's more focused towards teaching and student engagement and learning experience and so on. And which meant that until then, I had always been thinking in terms of probably journal publications. And this meant that the switch from research to scholarship in 2022 meant that I had more freedom in thinking about the outlets where I publish and do truly discipline-oriented research in entrepreneurship and strategic management, where I thought it would have a direct impact in what I taught in class. Though we talk a lot about research-linked teaching, we don't usually get to link our research to teaching in our classrooms. So right now, for example, one of the projects that it's been finished, it's been published maybe 4 or 5 months ago, was a paper on entrepreneurship education and how student intentions change over time, and how students come into varied entrepreneurship programs in universities with intentions to be these lone saviors of the world who will come in, become entrepreneurs. They're all the next Steve Jobs or Bill Gates, and they come in and they're going to save and change the world. They want social recognition. Some want to be impact seekers. They want to change. So there can be these lone wolves who want just recognition, or some people who genuinely want to make a change in the world. So, or some people who just want some autonomy and freedom. They don't want to work under someone. They want to. So even though everything is clubbed as entrepreneurship, what they want is self-employment. So we see a mix of all these aspirants in our classrooms, and I wrote about that in a paper, and I kind of put it. A nice kind of a typology came out of it, where I said there are 4 types of entrepreneurship students, and the way we design our programs, we can nurture the different type of entrepreneurship student they want to become. So we can help them along the pathway. So if we know what they want to be quite early on, we can help them. But in that paper, I also acknowledge that what someone wants to be changes even over the course of 1 year. Even in a 1 year master's program, they may come in thinking they want to be self-employed. Halfway through, they may decide they may have, with the program, decided that they want to be someone else. And so how can entrepreneurship programs be dynamic in the program design such that we can help students be a better version of themselves when they go out of our program? So I did a paper on that. That's a research project that I'm very proud of because it stays close to entrepreneurship education. It's a different line of or a different way of looking at entrepreneurship research. It's about researching entrepreneurship education. And I'm quite proud of that work because I think it has direct impact on how we design programs. And we did a massive redesign of our MSc program here at University of Liverpool soon after that, or during that time period. So it had really close links to how we were designing our MSc programs here. So that's a project that I think I'm very proud of. There are other projects, but that would be too much to speak about.
No, we would love to know more actually. So, since you've so closely worked on this research papers, you would already know that what are the kind of trends that you're able to see in the startup ecosystem, and also with the kind of mindset that students come in with. So you might have seen that very closely. So we would like you to highlight a bit more on that.
So my engagement with startups or accelerators or incubators in university. So university-based incubators and accelerators are, I would say, they act and perform quite differently from other private incubators and accelerators. And while I was at University of New Brunswick at the Center for Technology Management and Entrepreneurship, where I was a postdoctoral fellow, they had an accelerator called Energia, but I was just my engagement was quite peripheral. I would say I was a mentor. But I did get to work with several energy-based startups and understand, write papers on them, study them, interview them, learn about them from the sidelines, basically. And what I've understood is that there is a national culture, and then I come to the UK, and we have at University of Liverpool, we have a Brett Center for Entrepreneurship. We also have at the University of Liverpool, not associated with the management school, but at the University of Liverpool, we also have the Rigby Center for Enterprise. So we have various centers for entrepreneurship and enterprise in University of Liverpool as well, and they're all working, but they all work with, I would say, with different focus, and all those aims and goals are important, and I'll delineate that. So the first one that I'm talking about in Canada is a very focused energy accelerator where they're helping students with specific mostly students coming from the University of New Brunswick, as well as people in the region, were being helped mostly in tech-based, not just tech-based, but mostly at the time that I was there, and it might have changed over time. So I don't want to speak about things that I don't know. At the time that I was there, it was mostly tech-based enterprises. And it was a short program that helped them develop something that had already been partially developed into fruition and take it further to market, help them get the next rounds of seed funding and so on. So it was with a specific task. Whereas here, I would say Brit Center for Entrepreneurship has goals to engage with enterprises in LCR, but also strong ambitions to encourage entrepreneurship education across the university, which is also equally important, I would say. So my engagement with startups, my engagement with this whole, I would not limit it to startups. I would call it entrepreneurship education and the different facets of it, which where you can see some elements of it in incubators, some elements of it in accelerators, and all of this you can see in universities. You can also see that in entrepreneurship education programs that are now being embedded into undergraduate programs and postgraduate programs, which are also helping students develop startups, which are also helping students become self-employed. So I see entrepreneurship education as a whole, and incubators and accelerators within universities only as a part of it, if that answers your question.
Yes, that definitely does. So we do see that trends, with respect to tech, and how academia is also adapting to that and try to make students a bit more savvy here, just to be ready for the what comes next for them. Also, we would like to know. I'm sure this will be very difficult for you to answer, but we would love to know if there are any recent student-led projects or startups that have turned into success stories, and how do today's entrepreneurship courses contribute to such outcomes?
Thank you. I wouldn't take any names, because if I take one name, then it somehow means that somebody else was not successful. But as I said, I've probably seen more student-led projects like senior engineering projects become enterprises and become huge, extremely successful. In my previous role, when I was in Canada, I've probably seen that closely. But partially that's also because of where I was. I was within a faculty of engineering at that Technology Management Entrepreneurship Center. So I would probably have been in close contact. I'm sure that's happening in the University of Liverpool as well, but perhaps I'm not in close contact with it. So to say that, oh, I saw that there, does not mean that that is not happening here. It's just that I am not aware of it. So I wouldn't take any names of any ventures, but what I'm seeing is probably helpful for students, because with the advent of AI, information is quite easily accessible. If somebody wants to develop a startup, it's not as unachievable as it used to be even 5 or 6 years ago. So it's not, there is very limited information asymmetry. It's people are not being prevented from starting their own enterprise because of a lack of information. It's probably lack of motivation, lack of self-belief, and so on. So I think there is still a huge role in entrepreneurship courses within universities, wherein we can provide that pastoral care, motivation, self-belief, self-esteem. So I still think that the personal touch that comes from an entrepreneurship educator through all these different roles is still very important. In information, I don't think, yeah, you need to do an entrepreneurship course to gather just the information. If it's just the information you want, there might be some specific expertise, some lived experience that you may lack and you may gain in a specific incubator or an accelerator or an entrepreneurship program. But I think if it is just information you want, you don't need that. But I still think there is value in entrepreneurship courses through the softer side of entrepreneurship education.
Well, that's really interesting how, trying to mentor students in and out to also be motivated, because everyone has an idea, but just that right motivation is required to, take it to the next step.
It's not, sorry, if I may add, I didn't say this. It's not just that given your background, you may already have access to networks. You may already have access to venture capitalists. And not everyone comes with the same background. Not everyone starts at the same starting point. So when we have students in our classrooms, um, some may have already resigned to the fact that they can never be self-employed because they're probably the first person in their whole family to go to university. They have certain responsibilities. They can never take the risk to be an entrepreneur. So entrepreneurship and risk is kind of intertwined. And they can never take the risk to be an entrepreneur. They may have brilliant ideas, but they will never act upon it just because where they come from, just because of where they come from. And I think entrepreneurship educators have a significant role in providing the right support, right access to information, right networks, so that these brilliant ideas can be turned into something even more magnificent and taken to the market. And this is and thereby contribute to the economy, and that role cannot be replaced with any online program or any other book or what, any other form of information.
That's a really interesting perspective, having that personal touch and understanding the stories of students and also motivating them towards the right direction. So I think that's really interesting, Aparna, for sure. My one last question with respect to academia would be, how do you see the role of academia evolving in the startup and innovation space in the next few years? So with the current trends, and how do you see that changing going forward?
Sorry, could you repeat the question, please?
So my question is, how do you see the role of academia evolving in the startup and innovation space over the next few years?
Okay. So I think with AI, again, with AI, I think the role of academia is probably going to change drastically. Information will become easily accessible. In large amounts of information processing will become easily accessible. For example, previously, perhaps an incubator or an accelerator would have helped a startup to refine its buyer persona, its ideal customer profile, the willingness of the first customer to pay, the willingness, the cost to acquire a first customer, all those things that you need to know before going to market. Perhaps an incubator or an accelerator would have been able to help a new founder or a new team build that information together. I think with AI, it becomes much easier, and you don't need such assistance. What you still need, as I believe, is that personal touch and somebody to believe in you, somebody to tell you that you're on, and somebody to help you test and fail fast, which I think is also very important. You need to test fast, fail fast, move on to the next idea, and still be okay with it. All those things you probably need mentors and support, a network to support you with knowledge, with motivation, and so on. And but with how academia and universities themselves are changing with AI, this becomes more problematic. We'll probably see more academics, how do I say this? And being engaged with several universities in consulting capacities rather than being affiliated with just one university. And therefore, these kinds of personal touches and these kinds of personal capabilities in an entrepreneurship educator will become critical, but also will be not just associated with one university or one geography. It will be available to anyone. So it becomes a hub and spoke system of these are the personal mentoring capacities of person A, and it's available for anyone who wants to avail it. And I'm guessing some kind of system will come up in the next 10 years, wherein we'll all become part of a market where we are all selling our entrepreneurship education capacities through that market, but it will become sort of a hub and spoke system. And that, I think, is the future, wherein will people will have to be a lot more proactive. There won't be the They will not be under the umbrella of a university, which will kind of handhold them and guide them. It will happen still, it will still be there, but it will be less present, and individuals will have to be a lot more proactive in seeking the support and motivation that they have. And then it becomes even more complicated. Imagine someone who's lacking in motivation with a brilliant idea. How are they going to seek help or seek mentorship? That's not going to happen. So it becomes a question that I've been thinking about quite a bit, in a worried fashion, because I wonder what will happen to those who don't have the initiative to take that first step towards mentorship in the new form of university education. What will happen to them? So it's a question that I lay in front of people who are watching this video, to explore and understand. It's not to just explore how startups are changing, but to also explore how universities are changing. So, and if you are looking at university-based startup education, how both of it will co-evolve. Thank you.
Thanks for your answer. One question I think a lot of entrepreneurs are we hope that a lot of entrepreneurs are listening to this interview. And what is the kind of advice that you would like to give to any student who's listening, or any budding entrepreneur who's just starting off and in this fast evolving landscape?
I would say it's okay to fail. If you have slightly quirky ideas, or if you're a daydreamer and you think a bit different from everyone else, and it's okay. It's all right. If people call you weird or awkward or whatever it is, it's all right. That's okay. Just go for your dreams and see. But also bear in mind that just dreaming is not enough. You need to work really hard for it. And people may say smart work, whatever it is, but always be ethical in your work. Being smart is one thing, being unethical is another thing. So go for your goals. Don't listen to any naysayers. Don't listen to anyone who's too critical and trying to just, people are always eager to put you in your place. Like, don't dream too much. Don't go beyond what you don't believe that anyone else has the right to tell you that. You can dream as much as you want, but as long as your dreams are being supported by strong, focused hard, not just work that goes in 5 different directions, focused work towards your goal, that's all right. And always be ethical in your work. It's very prescriptive, and it almost sounds like I'm preaching, but yes.
No, this is an advice I think anyone can use that in their lives, and anyone working, any student, any entrepreneur. It's I think it's quite a very
generic
universal advice. Yeah. I think you did mention a lot of research that you're working on, a lot of projects that you're working on. So if our audience wants to, learn more about your work or your research projects, where can they, where can they reach you out? Or if you'd like to mention any recent publications or initiatives, please feel free. So.
Thank you. So I got a paper published 2 days ago, so I'll mention that. It's been a project. It's been a project that's taken a lot of time to eventually get published. So it's a project wherein we study entrepreneurship framing in India, how entrepreneurs build various types of sanitation solutions, smart toilets and so on, in urban areas in India, and how they frame the beneficiaries, and how value and impact are different, how the value for the end customer and the impact on the society through just building a toilet can be very different. And it looks at caste system, it looks at gender issues. So it's very much embedded in the Indian context, and it's just been accepted for publication. And if you want to read any of my work, including this one, I guess you can look up my University of Liverpool profile, write to me at my Liverpool email ID. You can look up my Google Scholar. I'm also on LinkedIn. So I also paint a lot. So I also have a website for my paintings. So you can reach me through a variety of different internet-based platforms, I suppose. So yeah, this is the project that probably is linked to entrepreneurship, the Indian context, and probably a lot of frames of references that we hesitate to talk about in entrepreneurship, such as in this case, casteism and gender discrimination and so on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So that's a research paper that's touching almost every social barriers that we
Yeah.
might have, and every trying to bring that overall impact in the society. I think that's a great research paper, and I'm sure a lot of research students would any entrepreneur would like to read that. Also, we didn't know that you're a painter. Otherwise, we would love to have another session for that, which is School to Painting, for sure. And thank you so much, Dr. Aparna, for your
Thank you.
response, and thanks for your thanks for your wisdom and time that you've given. We thank all our lovely viewers as well, and hope this episode has given them a new hope and inspiration to become a successful entrepreneur. Stay tuned for more such episodes.